Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh bidvaro. In relatively few hours, we're going to gather in our synagogues, in our homes, to start commemorating the beginning of another Jewish New Year, the year 5779. It is a day of being serious. It is a solemn day. We're going to gather not with frivolity, to the contrary. We're going to think about things that are important to us, because in those days, according to our tradition, the destiny of each and every one of us is going to be decided. So we want to be in our best behavior in those days, and at the same time hope that God will inscribe us in the book of life. According to Jewish tradition, Rosh Hashana is Yom Hadin, the day of judgment, absolute judgment. Now, if we come before God for absolute judgment, many of us are going to be found wanting because we have committed errors, we have made mistakes. So there is another day called Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. On the Day of Atonement, the quality of pity of the Almighty will come into fore, and He will judge us on the one hand with absolute justice, and on the other hand, taking into consideration our human frailties. Maybe the same relationship is also reflected in two important personalities in Jewish tradition. One is the prophet, Hanavi, who always castigated verbally the Jewish people, why they didn't behave the way they should, why they didn't attend to the needs of the widow, the orphan, who are usually the examples of those that are least fortunate in our society. On the other hand, you had the Kohen. He was also the teacher. He came into contact with the people at all times, and he understood that they are mortal, that they are frail, that they have weaknesses, and therefore the combination of the two personalities maybe describes the Jewish people best. The question is, how do you combine these two elements? We find there is a prayer called Selichot, which in the Ashkenazi community we start saying a few days before Rosh Hashanah. The Sephardic community started in the month of Elul, 1 month before Rosh Hashanah. One of the prayers that we repeat constantly is El Melech Yoshev Al Kiseh Rachamim. God, who is the King, sits on the throne of pity, of understanding of human frailties. On the one hand, God judges us absolutely. On the other hand, He is also compassionate with us. So how to find a symbiosis, how to find the middle path between these two concepts, on the one hand, absolute justice, and on the other hand, pity, understanding of human frailties, is really a difficult thing to achieve. Nowadays, we find that in the Jewish community, we have many people who are quite observant. They're very meticulous about every one of our mitzvot. On the other hand, there's a large number of people that fulfill certain things, and many things they just don't, for whatever reason there may be. And what is maybe even more painful is that a great sector of the Jewish community is becoming divorced entirely from our tradition. They're Jewish basically in name only, but they follow general patterns of ethics, of morals that they consider universal without necessarily identifying them as basic Jewish traits. How do we find harmony between these different groups? How do we become one people once again? I don't know what the remedy exactly is, but I think that in these days we should think about them, not only about the fact that we want God to inscribe us in the book of life. We should also think about the unity of the Jewish community, how we can make peace and harmony between the different sectors of the Jewish community. Well, this is a time to wish you and your family a very good year, a healthy year. I want to wish you a sweet year, as we say in the Jewish tradition, a year in which you will fulfill maybe aspirations and dreams that you were not able to reach in years past. Once again, Shana Tova to all.